on YouTube. I haven't done a stream in a very, very long time, so I am actually going to start doing just some Let's Talk series. I'm not actually going to play any games on the stream. I'm just going to talk. Let me get logged into YouTube so I can see my video or my chat. I was trying to figure out what I want to do with this channel. And I'm still over on Twitch, so if you want to watch me game, you can come over to Twitch. So let me just throw this out right from the beginning, that if you want to watch me game, you can watch me game on Twitch. But I'm trying to figure out how to get to my channel. That'll make it easy. Alright, before I get started with chatting, hey, I'm just gonna have a chat thing. I'm not gonna play games on here. I'm just gonna chat. So I'm gonna use YouTube for chatting. So you guys can come join me, and we'll have chats. I won't be doing any gaming, but I will have chats, and I don't think chats are gonna be a problem. So let's do some chatting. And you guys can chat in here. And welcome Ben. Thanks for stopping. Or Nathan. Yes, I remember. And welcome Adrian. So I'm back on here because I just want to do chats. I wanted to use my YouTube channel for something, and I didn't really know what to do. So let's just start with Let's Chats. And Let's Chats are basically going to be me chatting with you guys on here. And you can come watch my gaming over on Twitch. So head over to Twitch if you want to come do that. It's Comorancy on Twitch. I'll write it in the chat so you guys can see it. So that is the name of the channel. Anyway, let's talk about Fasnacht today, because there is a lot to talk about with that with that failed event. About 8 hours ago, Bethesda launched Fasnacht. I don't know exactly why they launched Fasnacht today, because it's kind of weird. They've got another event going on already now. They've got the Ash Heap. You'll see it in the upper right corner of the screen. They've got the Treasure Hunter Mole Miners, which are running in the game, and you can pick up treasure. It basically pails, mole miner pails, and the pails are basically like holiday gifts. So when you open them, they give you caps and script and junk and food and all kinds of other stuff. So that's kind of what it gives you. So it's just a bunch of stuff. I'm only and Adrian, I'm only over here because I just want to do this sort of chat thing. So we're just gonna do chatting. Not gonna play games, just chats. I'm just gonna leave this. I'll have some screen up here, some kind of launch screen like this, where we can just look at it. So there's something to watch. But anyway, and maybe we go into the atomic shop or something and see what's in the atomic shop. But basically, this is what's in the atomic shop today. So anyway, they launched Fasnacht, and then very quickly they realized there was a major problem with it. And it's not like Bethesda didn't know that there was a major problem, because it's already been told to them that this problem existed before Fasnacht ever came out. So basically, small animals are not spawning in public servers. And so if you're playing the event, well, if you played the event last year, you know that there's the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. And the butcher is the one that needs all the intestines from the small animals to move the event along. So you have to go get a bunch of intestines and drop them into this cooler, and you need like 20 of them or something. And once you get 20 of them, then the butcher will leave his area and join the parade, and the whole parade will go onward. And you have to do this for every single one of the robots in Fasnacht. So every robot needs something special done for them. And so as you do this thing for them and you complete it, then once it's completed, they will leave their area and walk over and join the parade. And once the parade is all assembled, then they will start the parade and walk around, and then you help protect them from the creatures as they walk around in a big loop inside of Helvetia. And so as they walk around in this loop, then when they get to the end, then the whole thing ends, and you have to kill a big legendary creature, and you'll all get some kind of a drop from it, and then you get masks and stuff at the very end. And so the event ran for like 1 or maybe 2 cycles at most, and some players did get to play this morning because it ran, but many players didn't get to play because the small animal intestines were not available, so they couldn't get the butcher to move on, so they couldn't get the parade to start up, so the whole thing was just a failure. And as a result of this, Bethesda writes on Reddit, unfortunately, due to the issue being reported here that is preventing critter spawns during certain objectives, we are going to disable Fasnacht Parade until we can implement a fix. We will reschedule the event once we have the fix ready to go. Keep an eye on our thread in our forums for updates as soon as we have new information to share. Apologies for the delay, and thank you for your patience. Yeah, there's going to be, and typically when they stop the event. Yes, we'll talk about some of the new stuff that's coming up for 76 and the seasons and stuff. So we'll talk about all that stuff. But let me finish with the Fasnacht stuff. So anyway, they've delayed the event. They basically said that they do not know. Oh, let me get out of this. I don't want this music running. So basically, they canceled the event as a result of this failure. So, and basically what it is, because no small animals are spawning, you can't move the event along. So that's it for that. Now, I can't show you the thing here, but let's see what's in the news. No, they took it all down. Yeah, right here. By popular demand, the seasonal event is returning full week starting May 25th, and there are plenty of new Fasnacht masks up for grabs. So, unfortunately, it isn't working. There isn't a good thing. So let's talk about the battle pass for a moment. I have to look it up. It's not exactly a battle pass. I mean, it kind of is. So basically, it is kind of a battle pass. It's a seasons pass, kind of, but I mean, you don't pay for the seasons. So the seasons, well, at least the first season, the summer season, we know is not going to cost any money. The first season the summer season won't cost any money. We do not know if the second and third seasons will, for sure, although they have said that they're not going to charge for the seasons. So as a result, it should be okay for no cost, but we don't know that for sure, at least on the fall and the winter seasons. But for the summer season, the summer season comes with legendary perks, the new legendary perks. I don't know exactly how the legendary perks are going to work yet, and I haven't. If they're already in the game, I have not gotten any. So yeah, I know. I'm not playing too much on Fallout 76, but let's just go ahead and continue with this. Let's see. This is the roadmap, by the way, I'm looking at. So if you want to see the roadmap, I don't know if I can paste links in the chat here, but I will paste this one in if it will let me. It does let me paste it in. I don't know if it shows up on your screen, but that is the roadmap. That's exactly what I'm looking at right now. So if you guys want to open your browser, you can see what I'm looking at. What I should probably do is try to see if I can broadcast a browser, and we'll use a browser to go look at some of this stuff. I don't know if I can broadcast the PS4's browser. I don't know if that's possible. It might be, but the PlayStation 4's browser is kind of sucky. Anyway, so if I can broadcast that browser, it might actually make me let me do the Let's Chats more easily, because then I can show you guys stuff on the screen. I can't do that right now because if I'm on, because you can only be in one thing at a time when you're broadcasting on a stream. So if I want to broadcast, since I'm in this game, if I leave the game, the broadcast is going to stop, and I have to start the broadcast all over again with a new thing. So it's just simpler if I leave this screen up. It doesn't make it easy to switch between other things in the PlayStation. So anyway, yeah, don't know how the legendary perks work yet. The Fasnacht parade is down until further notice. Let's see. I don't know exactly how this quote battle pass is going to work. If it's for nuclear winter, which it may be, then that could be okay. I mean, I don't play nuclear winter. I'm not a big fan of that mode. I know there's a lot of people who really like Battle Royale, but I'm not a big fan of Battle Royale mode, so I don't really do it often. I will go into it occasionally just for a change of pace, but I don't go into it often, and it's just not one of my favorite things. Let's see. I'm just reading this thing. Let me see if I can click on this image so I can read it better, because it's really pretty tiny. From the makers of Unstoppable Shindig, Blast Radius, and Catch the Kami comes the legendary race, a new way to experience irradiate. Oh yeah, this is the new game board. Yeah, let me talk about this game board for a moment, because this game board is changing, and this may be what you're talking about with the Battle Pass. This game board that they're introducing in the summer season is going to, quote, revamp how challenges work. Right now, the challenges, so let me just show you. I can't show you challenges without logging in here. But the way the challenges work right now is that they're separate challenges. There's a whole different category. There's combat and world and survival and daily and weekly challenges. There's a whole slew of different categories of challenges. And under each of these categories, then you also have there's a bunch to do in there. And each individual challenge might have multiple things to do also. So you might have to kill, there might be a single thing to do, or it might be multiple things to do. Depends on the challenge. And as you do those things, then it will complete that challenge, and you will get whatever the reward is. And that could be a perk card pack, it could be Atom, it could be a weapon, or it has been in the past been weapons. I don't see any weapons in there right now, but it could be anything they want to attach to it, any reward. The reward's typically Atom, but it could be other things. So what they're wanting to do now is, instead of giving out Atom, well, they're still going to give out Atom, but instead of giving the Atom during this new game board, so basically I think it's 100 steps on that game board, and it looks like a game board like Monopoly, or any kind of a game board like that, but it has a long path that sort of winds around from point A to point B, and as you complete challenges for each individual step along that game board, then you will get something, whatever that thing is, for that particular challenge. It might be an Atom. It's going to be typically an Atom Shop item, like an emote, or maybe an outfit, or it could be a photo frame. It could be anything from the Atom Shop. It could be anything that they want to give out. And I think it'll also give you a small amount of Atom. Now, that's not really the problem. I don't mind the game board thing. What I don't like about the game board is the linear nature of the game board. And here's the problem. If you hit a point, a circle on the game board, and you can't complete that challenge, you can't complete it because we know that many of these challenges have multiple things you got to do, right? But sometimes the game doesn't recognize the fact that you've done one of those challenges. So it says go kill, 10 a legendary Scorch Beast, right? And you go over and you find the Scorch Beast and you kill it, and then the challenge doesn't complete. You don't get it doesn't put the check mark by it. It just sits there and like you didn't even do it. And then you're thinking, well, maybe I did something wrong. So then you go and you find another legendary Scorch Beast and you kill it. And then it doesn't count. And so you just keep doing it, and none of them count. So then you realize the whole thing's broken. So you can't get beyond this failure where you've killed the Scorch Beast 2 or 3 or 4 times, and it still doesn't count it. And so you know that this challenge is bugged. It's just not going to progress. And so if we're on a linear game board where we're no longer doing them serially or concurrently, where we have a bunch of them we can just do and we can ignore some that don't work, now we're stuck because now you're on a spot on that game board where the challenge won't complete, and now you can't move on because that one game board section is now stuck, and you're locked there. And the only way around that, and this is the really, really bad part of it, is that they're going to charge you 120 atoms to get past it. So if you, they're going to penalize you 120 atoms because there's a bug in their challenge. You can't complete the challenge because the game will not recognize that you did the thing that they asked you to do. So now you're going to be forced to pay 120 atoms to move on to the next game board piece. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. That is exactly what we're talking about here. I know you're saying no, but that is exactly what we're talking about here. So, this is the problem with the linear game board. And this is why I don't like the linear game board. It's a horrible design that's made worse, and now we're going to be penalized because they can't write a game that works. Now, you can, if you get stuck, open a ticket with Bethesda and support and take your chances with them and hope that they'll progress your game board along. But I'm almost 100% certain they have no way to progress your game board. I'm almost 100% certain they're not going to be given tools to help you progress your game board. So if your game board is stuck, the only thing you're going to do to get it past it is to pay 120 atoms. Now, they can gift you 120 atoms so that you can progress your game board along. That is something they can do. They can give you atom. But that is the only thing they can do at support, is give you the atom. Very unlikely they can actually progress your game board along. You're going to be stuck there. And this is the reason why I absolutely hate the idea of the game board. Because now we're going from a concurrent list of challenges that you can just skip one to being stuck at a specific spot on a game board because you can't get the game to complete the challenge. And that is the reason why I'm not a big fan of that game board thing. If you want to see the game board, there's pictures of the game board somewhere on Bethesda. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Actually, here is the image. Let me just send you this image. It's kind of in this image, but it's kind of in a circle with a guy holding a gun. But let me paste this in. Oops, not that. Paste. So this is the full-size image of the roadmap. And the game board is there. It's got this sort of windy, windy little path with a bunch of little things on it. So I'm not a big fan of this game board. I've actually already submitted my response to them on the concept of the design of this game board, so they are well aware of my thoughts on this matter. They are well aware of it. I've already submitted it to them. I did that probably about a week ago, so they are well aware of it. So let's see. What other things are on this game board? What are other things that are on this roadmap? So there's the Steel Dawn, which is coming in the fall, and that's going to be I think that's actually going to be an entirely new faction. Well, not a new faction, but I mean a new joinable faction. I think that's what's coming with Steel Dawn, and that gives us a Brotherhood of Steel faction that we can join. So I think in addition to Settlers and Raiders, then we'll also get to join the Steel Dawn faction, and get whatever things they're going to give us from joining that faction, and that'll be the Season 2 refresh in the fall. That probably comes. My guess is probably September, August, September, possibly as late as October, but I kind of doubt it. They don't. The interesting thing is they do not at all mention the Halloween event here, which is weird because you would think that they would have mentioned that in the One Wasteland for All in the fall update. So I kind of was hoping that they were going to talk about the Halloween event. So I'm guessing they just overlooked that for the fall update, because it doesn't make sense why it's not there. But you know it's coming. They're going to have the Halloween event again this year, so it has got to be coming. Event, we have Fracture Steel, which extends the Steel Dawn portion of the Brotherhood and gives us more stuff. It says later in the year, this is the winter part, the Brotherhood of Steel returns to Appalachia in search of new technology. The continuation of the story arc started in Steel Dawn will introduce new NPCs, quests, and companions to the West Virginia wasteland, and that means that we're going to have companions in the wasteland come fall. And if companions work anything like they do in Fallout 4, then we'll be able to wander around with them, which will be kind of a cool thing. But that's not coming until probably December at the earliest. But the one and only one thing that I really desperately want of this entire roadmap is perk card loadouts. Easy customized builds. And that comes in the winter at the very end of the year in December. And I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, honestly, they could have moved that perk loadout one to the summer season, and I would have been completely happy. Just get rid of the Fasnacht thing if it's not working and replace it with the perk card loadouts, and I would take that in a heartbeat. Having to switch between cards and perk loadouts is a pain in the ass, and it's slow and cumbersome and time-consuming. And it would be awesome if they would finally give us perk card loadouts. In fact, they should have given us a companion app on our phone or a tablet, which would allow us to move the cards around just on our phone or tablet separately from the game itself. So we could move the cards around on our phone in real time and then have it take effect in the game, within, 30 or 45 seconds. And then you can, maybe it'll update or have some little thing that spins around on the screen or something that tells us the perk cards are updating. But just give us some kind of positive confirmation that our perk cards have just updated. But they should have had a companion app in this game since day one. I don't understand why they haven't had that. Still be on the live stream. Okay. If you're going to AFK, that's fine. Thanks for chatting. Ben Swallow. Okay, that's your new name, Ben Swallow. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about... since I haven't talked about Fallout 76 on here at all, let's talk about just in general Wastelanders, because I haven't really had much of conversation really on a Let's Chat at all about Wastelanders. So I'm going to talk about Wastelanders, and I'm going to talk about the upsides and the downsides to Wastelanders. And I haven't actually gotten all the way through Wastelanders, obviously, because there's a lot to do. But I have gotten through it far enough to know where the pitfalls are and where the benefits are. So let's just start with the many pitfalls of Wastelanders. When they brought out Wastelanders, they brought a bunch of new NPCs into the game, and the NPCs are a combination of friendlies and enemies, right? You're gonna have both, and the enemy factions include the Blood Eagles and raiders outside of the raider camps, and the Mothman cultists. So those are the primary enemies that have been added to the game. There are also many settlers in the game. Well, the two factions that you get in the game are the settlers and the raiders. And the raiders are at the crater, the raider crater, and the settlers are at the Foundation. And the Foundation is actually in this montage that rolls through the screen here. So this is the crater here on the screen. That's the crash site, the satellite crash site. That is the crater. And then this here is the Spruce Knob campgrounds, and this is where the Foundation is. So there's two videos of the Foundation here, and there's two videos of the crater here. And this is the interior of the Vault 79. So 79 has to do with both the raiders and the raider crater, the crater, yeah, the Raider crater, and the foundation, the settler foundation. Now, when they put the settlers into the game, they took over the Spruce Knob workshop. This was originally a workshop, and they turned it into a raider. A settler settlement. And so they built it out. There's a whole bunch of new stuff there, and it's completely redone. But at the same time, it's no longer a workshop. So you can't take that workshop. But that workshop is part of the challenges. Thankfully, I already had the challenge. Challenge is completed. I already got that, but it's in the challenges that there's like one challenge of taking every workshop in the game, and that was one of the workshops that's listed in there. So since they've rolled Wastelanders out, you can no longer get that workshop because it's not in the game anymore. So either they marked everybody's challenge as completed, which is possible. They might have done that, but it's still listed in the challenge as a potential workshop that needs to be taken. So I don't know how that works for people who hadn't taken that workshop. So if you start a new game, and you'll want to look at your challenges and see if it's in there. Now keep in mind that the challenge system that we have today is not the challenge system that's going to remain. As soon as the summer season rolls out, the challenge system is being overhauled, and I'm concerned that the challenges that are currently here are going to be invalidated. So if you want, this is going to kind of as a warning, if you want to do any of those specific challenges and get the atom from them, do them now. Go spend the time and do your challenges now, because the challenges that are here today may not be here when the summer season rolls out with the new game board. Once the new game board rolls and the new challenge system is rolled, the challenges that are currently existing may be invalidated and may no longer be available. So you want to get your atom out of them now. So go log into the game, play the challenges that you know that you're very close to winning, specifically the ones that are like 80 atoms, like taking pictures in areas, and combat challenges with killing liberators or whatever it is, robots. You'll want to go do that. And if you do that, then you can pick up atom right now. But if once those challenges are wiped and we get the new game board, you won't be able to go back and do those challenges. So do them now, or lose your ability to do it. So anyway, let's go back to the Wastelanders versus the Wastelanders section, the NPCs. So one of the biggest problems with the Wastelanders rollout is the lack of balance. So one of the things that Bethesda was always claiming was trying to rebalance the game so that it is more, and by balance, making it more challenging for the player. So it takes makes it harder for the player to get the stuff that they can find in the game. So it makes it more difficult to find legendaries. It makes it more difficult to find resources. It makes it more difficult to find just anything in the game or do anything. So, but there's a fine line between balance and imbalance, and Bethesda's always been trying to find that balance. But unfortunately, I think they've failed in many areas with that balance, and particularly with Wastelanders, they heavily failed. And why is the balance so bad? Well, you have level 14 Blood Eagles who have incredibly high health bars, and I have weapons that can do like 1,400 damage in a shot. So if I'm in my sneak build and I shoot a sneak shot off, and the first shot I hit will do 1,400 damage, I'll hit a Blood Eagle square in the head using all of my perks, and it'll do maybe less than 10% damage to that enemy. It's a level 14 enemy, right? Mind you, my character's a level 156 something. I forget what it is. 162, I think. And this is a level 14 character, NPC character. And I'm shooting it, and it's taking less than 10% health with 1,400 damage. It's just not possible. There's no way that a level 14 character has over 1,400 health points. It's not possible. So I don't know what's going on here with the balance, but the balance is off. It's way, way, way off. And likewise, when they shoot me with their weapons, they're taking probably a tenth of my health every bullet. So probably 10 bullets, and they can take most of my health. I mean, almost all of it, with just like 10 bullets. And it's incredibly imbalanced, where my shot takes less than a tenth of their health, and their shots are taking 10% of my health every shot, just one shot. So it's totally imbalanced. There's just no way that this is balanced. So I don't know what's going on with the balance in this game, but it is clearly off, way, way off. And I don't know what Bethesda's developers are thinking. You know, to me, they're probably thinking, let's just make it harder for everybody. We'll put all these NPCs in, and we'll just make it harder, make it, and by giving them lots over healthing them, and making their weapons overpowered, making the NPCs' weapons overpowered, and then reducing the weapon output of damage output of player weapons, so that 1400 damage will only take less than 10% of their health. So this is the issue that I'm facing with Wastelanders. It's not at all fair and balanced addition to the game. Now, if you want to go play something like the Colossal Problem, which is the new legendary boss, the Wendigo Colossus, you have to drop a nuke on the area so that it will spawn, like the Scorchbeast Queen. The second problem is that it has this really annoying goop spray thing that it does, where it throws it at you and it makes your character turn around and run away screaming. So, and I'm sure someone at Bethesda thought that was hilariously funny, but I don't think it's funny at all, because the point in combat is combat, not run away from your combat. I mean, I don't want to spend my time running away from the enemy every time they throw some goop at me. I want to spend my time shooting at the enemy. That's the point of fighting an enemy, is shooting at it. Now, the runaway goop is, it, like I said, for the first time, it's kind of funny. After about the 6th time of doing that, it's not funny at all. It's actually a very annoying thing. Now, I'm okay with Bethesda throwing in these sorts of, effects. I don't know what else to word to use. Effects, I guess, on these on goop throws, but they need to have perk cards that can negate it. Like, I don't know what you would call the perk card, and I don't even know where it would go, but a perk card that you could put on that, a level 1, 2, and 3, maybe 3-star card, where, the chance of being impacted by a runaway, by being scared or afraid or whatever, is reduced by, 20%, and then 30%, and then, or 20, 40, 60, like 60% reduced. So there's at least a negating perk card that you can have, or maybe a food stuff you can eat, or a chem you can take, Calmex, just any one of these kinds of temporary things you can put on. A perk card would be great, because then you can put it on, leave it on your stack, but anything, a magazine you can consume, a bobblehead you can eat, any of these things would be great that you could take that would reduce the effect of that particular goop spray. So to me, that's like, you put one thing in, but you don't give us the compensating control on the other side. And so Bethesda's constantly doing this thing where they throw these things into the game that are completely imbalanced, and there's nothing on the other side of that balance for the players to use to negate it. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of Wastelanders, because the design part of it is only half-assed. They half-ass the whole design. They don't think about the implications of this all the way through. Yeah, I mean, it is just a game, right? It's just a game, but it's still not a game that people are going to want to play when it's this badly designed. So you got to have these compensating controls, and that's one of the things Fallout has always had, is the compensating controls. That if an enemy gets some kind of special thing, then the player also gets a counteractive special thing. Whether it be armor or a chem or food stuff, it's always this tit versus tat thing, where the enemy gets a thing and the player gets a thing that they can counter each other. And that was the whole point of what Fallout was kind of built on, were these point counterpoint thing where the player gets something and the enemies get something and the players get something to counter it. And so that's kind of why I'm very, very disappointed with Wastelanders, because they've given all these things to the enemies that the player has no way to counter. And that's not a fun gameplay, because then it's all skewed toward the enemies. And that doesn't make the game challenging. It makes the game frustrating. And there's a fine line between fun and frustrating. They both start with F, but frustrating is not where you want to be. You don't want to be frustrating and annoying your gamers. You want to make the game fun. And so and like I said, there's a fine line between fun and frustrating. And Bethesda's firmly crossed into the line under the side of frustrating. We are way beyond fun. So the fun in this game has long since gone. Now it's just an exercise in frustration. And also they've also screwed VATS up really badly. So VATS, chances of hitting with VATS has probably been reduced even more than it was in the past. You know, the percentage meters that you're seeing on the screen when you click on VATS, like if you have a headshot that says 95%, that number is totally wrong. There's actually two numbers there. There's the number you see on the screen, and then there's a hidden number behind the scenes that is actually determines whether your shot's going to hit or not. So the number you see is fake. The number that is real is the number that is hidden that you can't see. And that's the way that Bethesda has written VATS now, so that even though it says 95% on the screen to you, there might actually only be a 20 or 30% chance of actually hitting with a VATS shot. And so you don't know really what the percentage is and what you're getting. It's not transparent anymore. Bethesda's completely broken VATS. And they broke VATS a long time ago, because originally we had the option, we had the ability to get 100% hit rate. But they took that out of the game entirely. There's no 100% for VATS anymore at all. The maximum is 95%. So there's always a 5% chance. And the reason they did that was so they could play that fudge number in the back end, so they could really the real hit rate is much, much, much lower than what you're seeing on the screen. What you're seeing on the screen is strictly cosmetic. It's just for your pleasure. It's not for the gun itself. The gun actually follows a different rule set, which is hidden, and you can't see that rule set. It's built into the back end of the game. And so if you make that shot, if you're looking at the screen, it says 95, but you actually shoot that shot, you're probably getting maybe a 20 or 30% chance of actually hitting. So in that percentage changes behind the scenes more rapidly than the number that's on your screen, because you might be seeing 95, 100% of the time, but in the back end it's alternating between 0 and probably 30% at random. It's kind of a roll of the dice thing. And so that's one of the reasons why VATS is so broken. VATS is incredibly, incredibly broken at this point. It used to be that what you would see on the screen is the actual number or percentage you're gonna hit, but a chance of hitting. But they've since split the numbers, and so now what's behind the scene in the game that you can't see, that's not transparent to you, is just broken. And they've also broken camps. In the latest version of this rollout, when they released the 8 gigabyte update like last week, they broke camps because they raised the cost of something in the camps. I actually think what they did was they when Wastelanders rolled out, they gave us an update to our camp budget, which probably give us another like 30% over what we already had. So they gave us an extra 30% on top of whatever camp budget we already had. So you would see maybe 30% more camp budget when Wastelanders rolled out, but I think they rolled that back. I think they took that away from us with this 8 gigabyte update. So we lost that 30%, and so now our camps are way over budgeted because we lost that 30% that they gave us when Wastelanders first rolled out. So now my camp is completely and totally over budget. There's no way for me to put anything up. I can't even delete Sophia from the camp, because if I delete her, then If I do that, then I can't put any allies down because my camp will be way over budget. So I would just have to start dismantling my entire camp and rebuild it from scratch to figure out how much camp budget we actually have now. I'm not going to spend time doing that. It takes me 2-3 hours to rebuild my camp. So I'm not going to spend, just because of a bug that they introduced, I'm not going to spend that much time ripping down my entire camp and building it from the ground up again. That's just not going to happen. Just to placate Bethesda's bugs. Yeah, not going to happen. So yeah, there's just all these myriad of problems that have come out since Wastelanders rolled out with 76, and it's just not getting any better. It's honestly not getting any better. And let's talk a moment about the mole miners, the mole miner pails, because we haven't talked about that. That's another event that's going on right now, and that runs for 2 more days. Now, hopefully, they will extend the treasure hunter as a result of Fasnacht failing. It would be nice if they would extend that event, give us a few more days for this because Fasnacht has failed. And that would at least give us some more time for this event while they fix the Fasnacht problems. So I'm going to actually suggest that on Reddit. I don't think they'll probably do anything about it, but maybe not. Anyway, let's see what else is there to talk about today. Yeah, they're going to introduce in the fall, they're going to introduce a thing called daily ops, which I don't understand what the difference between that and daily challenges is, because honestly, daily challenges, daily ops, I guess an ops is a quest related kind of thing versus a challenge which is not quest related but still a thing to do. Challenges are kind of like loose quests. They're like, you go do this thing and you kill all these things and then you get the challenge. So I don't really see the difference between that and a daily op. A daily op might just have a little quest marker. It might just throw a quest marker into your quest area, but what's the difference between that and not having a quest marker? Honestly, I don't care whether there's a quest marker as long as I get to the end of whatever it is you're asking me to do. And it's fine if you want to throw a quest marker up, but I don't really care. So I don't quite get the daily ops thing. It's not really much of a difference from what we already have today. If the daily ops challenges give us, it does say earn scaling rewards. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know what a scaled reward is. I assume that means you get, the more you do, the more you get. I don't know if that's true because that'll throw balance off in the game again, and Bethesda's all about negating the balance. So I don't quite understand the earn scaling rewards thing. I guess we'll have to wait until it rolls out to see exactly what it means. It probably doesn't mean what I think it means, and because Bethesda's definitions of how to build this stuff and what I think it should be are usually never in line. So yeah, there's that. There's also some event coming in the fall called Bombs Drop. I don't quite understand this one because we can already go into the silo. We can already launch nukes today, so I don't quite understand why we need something called Bombs Drop. Don't quite understand that unless they're expecting us to go through the silo. If they're expecting us to go through the silo before we go through another quest, then I don't quite understand that, because going through the silo to launch a nuke is, there's a lot of lead up to launching a nuke in 76. You first have to become a general, which is a whole challenge in and of itself. You have to kill 10 legendary Scorch Beasts in addition to going through a whole bunch of quest lines. Once you get all that stuff done, and you become a general, then you can go into the silo. But before you do that, you got to go find key cards, and shooting key card robots out of the air is a pain in the ass, because that can take you probably an hour or 30 minutes to an hour just with bullets and expending a lot of bullets, throwing bullets into the air, hoping that it happens to hit that erratically flying robot drone. Once you shoot that thing down, then of course you can get your first key card, and then you can go into the silo and do the whole silo mess. And the whole silo mess is probably about 45 minutes. Well, if you're really, really fast, you can probably do it in maybe 25 minutes if you're super fast. But chances are, if you're going in there alone and it's your first time, it's at least 45 minutes. And the average is probably about 30 to 35 minutes to go through a silo. So you're talking, and that's real time, not in-game time. Real 30 minutes spending doing their challenges, and it's so complicated because they overkilled the quest in the silo. I mean, it's overkilled, way overkilled. So when you get down in there, not only do you have to kill robots continuously throughout the entirety of your trek down there, just robot after robot after robot, because they can just keep spawning. You also have to do all these little puzzles, and it's not just one puzzle; it's 3 different puzzles. So the first puzzle is you got to repair a bunch of pipes and stuff, and the second puzzle is you got to destroy a bunch of mainframe cores, and the third one is you got to repair the mainframe cores. And actually, there's a 4th puzzle. The last puzzle is a protection event puzzle where robots come out and they stand at the consoles, and you got to protect them from being destroyed by other robots that are coming out and trying to destroy them. And then, so it's actually 4 different puzzle areas. And when you get to the final 4th puzzle, that last puzzle lasts about 15 minutes from beginning to end. And so, and the other ones aren't really timed, except one that's like 2 minutes. I think you get like 2 to 5 minutes to do it. And if you don't do it, then the whole thing, you have to start the whole thing over from the beginning. So, yeah. And you have to get in, if you're in power armor, you have to get in and out of power armor in order to even do the silo, because you have to get out of your power armor to do this body scanning thing, and then you have to get back in it. And so there's all this hopping in and out of power armor in order to do parts of the event inside of there. It's a real pain in the ass. And so when you finally get through the whole thing and you launch the nuke, then you still need to go do the thing that you launched the nuke on. So you spend 35 minutes in there doing this whole nuke launching thing. And then if you launch it at the Scorched Beast Queen area, then you're going to have to spend another like 30 minutes to go over the Scorched Beast Queen area to kill the Scorched Beast Queen. Or if you launch it on White Spring, then you're going to spend another 45 minutes killing ghouls over at White Spring. So it depends on what you're doing. And you could probably spend a couple of hours shooting the ghouls at White Spring, to be honest. So let's see, because I think the blast zone lasts like 3 hours, 2 or 3 real hours. I forget how long it lasts, but it's a long time. Let's see, Perc Loadouts. Yeah, this is the one and only one thing that I really look forward to in this game is the Perc Loadouts, and that's coming in the winter. That's the one big thing on this, one bright spot on this entire roadmap image is the Perc Loadouts. Let's see. Oh yeah, here's the game board itself. Let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 35, 32. So there's 32 in this segment. Yeah, so I'm looking at this game board and it's convoluted. It looks like there's maybe 32 segments in every area. So this one says chapter, I think it says chapter 2. Yeah, chapter 2, Battle at the Black Hole. I don't know what the first chapter is because I can't see it, and I can't see the third chapter that comes right after it. Oh, here it is, chapter 3, The Forbidden. I can see that one. It's kind of like a map screen where you can move it around left to right. I don't know whether you can. It doesn't look to me like you can do these challenges in any random order. It looks like you have to do them individually, sequentially, one after the other, until you get to the very end. So yeah, there's a problem there. And it says you will be able to take part in our inaugural summer season for free as soon as it begins with Update 20. All players will have full access to single unified progression path, which means everyone is working towards the same rewards through the entire season. In Update 20, you'll find a new option in the main menu that will take you to a uniquely Fallout-themed seasonal progression screen. During the first season, these will be a themed game board, and you'll be placed at the first space on the board at rank 1 out of a total of 100 ranks. Complete in-game activities to start accumulating new score points, which will help advance your position and rank up. Every time you reach a new rank, you will unlock exciting new rewards you can claim, like unique gift items, an item for your camp, a weapon skin, power armor paint, consumables, perk card packs, items, even in-game currencies like script caps or bullion. So yeah, there is. But as I said, the progressions, this progression screen is linear. So unless you're going to be able to jump over things that are broken and skip it, which hopefully they will let us do, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, this linear game board is going to become a real problem for Bethesda. Oh, the first chapter is called Chapter 1, Mothmen of Mars. I can see it here. All right, so, and then also I didn't mention there is a new power armor set in the game. It is called T65, and it is available by spending bullion at Vault 79 to buy the plans. Now, bullion is one of those, it's for whatever reason they've added a new currency to the game called bullion, gold bullion, and it's available inside of Vault 79. So once you unlock Vault 79 through a quest line, then you can get the bullion from inside of Vault 79. And once you start getting bullion, and then you can start buying stuff for it. I don't know how much those plans cost with bullion. Might be 300 bullion, might be 150 bullion, might be more than that. I don't know, because I've not gotten into Vault 79 yet. So you have to get into Vault 79 before you can do it. Now let's talk about reputation grinding. So this is basically the final thing I'm going to talk about today in this stream is reputation grinding, and this is the biggest problem in Wastelanders, probably the single biggest problem in Wastelanders. And what it is there. In order to get reputation, you have to do quests for certain people, certain NPCs in the game, and they're daily quests. So, and you will get these quests once per day whenever you enter the area. So if you enter the crater, they will give you this quest, and then you can go do it. Once you do the quest, you will get up to a maximum of 255 reputation points per day. Now, you think that sounds like a lot, right? But it isn't. And it isn't because there are 7 ranks in the game, and there are 7 ranks, but technically there's 6, because the first rank is a hostile rank, and you don't start off in that rank. You automatically start off with the one rank above the hostile rank. So you start off with cautious, and when they throw you into the game fresh, you start off as cautious, not as hostile. So that rank is sort of off the table. You don't have to work through it. So there's 6 ranks above that. So or that rank plus 5 more, I guess. Or, yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah. So the rank you're currently working through plus 5 more above that. And there are progressive ranks, which means that it takes more and more and more reputation to progress through the ranks. So the lower the rank, the easier it is to get to the end of it. And the higher the rank, the more it takes to get to the end of it. For example, it takes like 6,000 to get through the friendly rank. Let me look all the ranks up, because I don't remember them off the top of my head. Reputations and Fallout 76. Okay, reputations. There are 7 of them, and they are hostile, cautious, neutral, cooperative, friendly, neighborly, and ally. And you don't start off at hostile, you start off at cautious. They throw you in at the rank above hostile. So you can, if you lose rank, you could go down into hostile. That's the reason why they gave one before that. Because if you wanted to play the game in a negative way or make everybody hate you, then you can drop down to the hostile rank. So you can actually go all the way down to hostile if you want. But you start at cautious, so you just progress up from cautious. So you have to work all the way through the cautious rank, which says 1,000 points. So you have to go through 1,000, and then neutral, and then actually I think you go from cautious to cooperative because neutral doesn't take any points at all, and cooperative, which takes 1,000 points to get through. And once you get through cooperative, then you reach friendly, and it takes 3,000 to get through friendly, so you need 3,000 reputation points. Now, this is where you can see that 255 or 50 per day, 250 per day, is going to slow you down. So if you can only do 250 per day, after you get through all the quests that can produce rank in the regular quests, because once you get to siding with the faction, then that's where your reputation basically ends. There may be a few more that give you some reputation after that, but I don't know exactly how many do. But once you've completed all of the quest lines that produce rank, there are no more quest lines that produce rank. The only way to produce rank after that point is the daily quests, which is a maximum of 250 to 255 reputation rank per day. And so if you want to get all the way through to ally, we're talking about months of grinding, literal months of grinding. Like if you played the game every single day for 48 days, you could rank up to ally, right? So that's and the ally is the one that unlocks the best weapons at the vendors. So the rank is what determines what you can buy at the new faction vendors. So if you reach ally, then you can buy all the best weapon things. And I don't know what it takes. I don't know what reputation it takes to buy the Raider power armor. Hopefully it doesn't take much. But I don't see that here. I don't know how much it takes. Let's see. For example, in order to buy the Gauss shotgun, you have to be an ally. In order to buy the Gauss minigun, you have to be an ally. Not the plan for it, not the actual gun. You might be able to buy the gun without being that rank, but to buy the plan for the gun, you have to be an ally, and that's months of grinding, months and months of grinding, literal months of grinding, because there's 250 per day. That's 1,000 every 4 days, and you have to go. And it's like, how much rank does it take to get through? It takes 12,000 rank to get. Well, it takes it either takes 6,000 or 12,000 to get to ally. I think it's 6,000 to get to ally. So 6,000. So if it's 1,000 every 4 days, that would take you like 24 days, at least 30 days probably. And that's if you're playing every single day. And that's assuming that you get a max reputation every single day, and that the game doesn't bug out. And there's all these sort of, if this doesn't happen, if that doesn't happen, all these normal bugs that you would run into in the course of the day. So it's going to extend out. I guarantee it's going to take you at least 30 days, probably 40 days, between 30 and 40 days. Now, if you play casually, it's probably going to take you like 6 months to get to rank of ally. If you're just doing it every now and then. So the ranking system is actually very, very horrible in this game, because of the way that they have given you so little that you can pick up every day. So if they would take a page from No Man's Sky's book, No Man's Sky does the same thing. They do 250 Quicksilver per day. It's not a rank, but it kind of is. I mean, the way that it works is the rank is ultimately like a kind of currency. So the way that it works in No Man's Sky is you get 250 per day, but on the weekends there's a weekend event which will give you 1,200 to 1,500 for the weekend event. So if you do the weekend event, then you get like a lot, and on top of any dailies that you could still do. So if you have the daily, you can still pick up those 250 or whatever, but you can also pick up the 1,200 to 1,400 that's available over the weekend. So if they would do weekend events like that, where you could pick up some reputation over the weekend, then it might not be so bad. But they have not done any kind of weekend events in Fallout. So this whole reputation system is really, 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 really bad. the new reputation system is very, very grindy, and this is the one thing that people are just completely railing against Bethesda on is the grind necessary for this reputation, because people want to get to Ally so they can buy these plans, but it's going to take you months to get there, and that's just it's horrible, horrible, horrible. So like oh, it's 225. Sorry, if you do the daily retirement plan for the Raiders, uh, it's uh, it's either 200, 210, or 225, depending on how you complete the event, the daily event. And there's another one called The Importance of Communication. And you complete this quest, you can either get 200 or 225, depending on how you complete the event. So maximum looks like 225 that you can get out of the daily event. So there you go. Just kind of looking through this. Anyway, that's the reputation system. I will paste the reputation system page in here so you guys can see that too. And that's the reputation system from Fandom. And so they talk about the reputation system and how it works. Now, keep in mind that the Fandom is truly just a fandom site, so this may not be 100% accurate to actually how the game works. It's probably reasonably accurate, but it's not necessarily 100% accurate. Most of what gets put on Fandom is put on there by people who are playing the game and by people's understanding of how the game plays, not necessarily by the rules that Bethesda has laid down. It's not written, these wiki pages are not being written by people at Bethesda, as far as I know. So these are people opening up the game files and looking at the game files and seeing what the game files say. And the game files are not always accurate. So, I mean, they are accurate for what they're game files, but it's not necessarily how the game functions. So just because it's in the game files doesn't mean it's actually in the game. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at these wiki pages like this. All right, so I think that's about it for today's Let's Talk. I'm going to head out to go get some dinner, and I will see you guys in the next Let's Talk stream. I don't know when I'm going to be doing the Let's Talk streams. I'll probably be doing them maybe once or twice a week. Today is Monday. Maybe I'll do one on Monday and on Friday. So let's do a Let's Talk on Friday. Maybe I'll do it on Saturday. Friday or Saturday. We'll see. It depends on how my week rolls out. So I will do some more Let's Talks. I won't be doing any gaming on here. I'll just be doing Let's Talks. If you want to come watch me, come join me at on Twitch, and I'll put the link in the description for my Twitch stuff. So, in fact, it might already be in there. I don't remember if I put it into the description or not. But come join me on Twitch and watch me game over there. The reason I'm gaming over there is because of the way that the COPPA restrictions that are on this system at YouTube, and I'm just not a big fan of the way that YouTube has screwed us over as creators heavily, and they're just continuing to keep screwing us over. So I'm not a big fan of that YouTube's monetization policies and changes around this, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, and it's going to get worse as this whole world situation progresses, because now that companies are starting to declare bankruptcy, it's going to really take a crimp out of the monetary payments to people who are on YouTube anyway, because as businesses start to have problems with finances, they're going to start pulling back on advertising revenues and all. That's usually one of the first things that goes, is advertising budgets. So I would expect that much of YouTube's advertising revenue is going to dry up in the next 6 months, and they're not going to have much money to spend on their YouTube creators. So I would expect even the biggest creators to see a huge drop in ad revenue. So I would fully expect that coming up. So that's a whole separate issue. Maybe I'll have a Let's Talk on Friday. We'll talk about that, about what's going on YouTube, and so let's plan for that on the next Let's Talk. And I will see you guys in the next stream. Come join me again. Bye.